introduce? Ja, dankjewel.
All right. Waar is, waar zit hij juist? Waar zit hij? Rechts van voor? Oké, perfect. Ja, dat ik de juiste richting op is. Welcome everybody to the 7th edition of the PiP Final Gala. I am Jules and I will be your host this evening. Are you ready to hear, see and feel what innovation and entrepreneurship is all about? I ask you, are you ready? Perfect, because we are too. All our PiP students have been working all year tirelessly to this very moment. But before we start, I would like to start by thanking a few people. First of all, KIK Leuven. KIK promotes innovation and entrepreneurship in the university and really has had our backs throughout the year. So thank you. But also, PiP wouldn't be PiP without the inexhaustible wisdom of our KU Leuven professors and staff. So, thank you as well. By the way, has anyone noticed in what a beautiful location we are here tonight? I really think somebody should say something about it. But what about our very own provincial policy officer, Roel Casteels? Roel, would you mind?
Thank you, thank you. Dear attendees, I would also like to welcome you at the Provincial House. As a provincial government, we have been participating in the Product Innovation Project for a number of years. We are always looking forward to see how a team of enthusiastic students look for creative and innovative solutions for the social and economic challenges we present them. But we also support PiP because we are convinced that entrepreneurship and innovative thinking are important skills that benefit every student. Innovation and entrepreneurship are also very important pillars in the provincial economic policy, just as supporting the social economy. And in this year's challenge, those things all come together. Social economy companies are an essential part in the economy. They not only offer employment opportunities for a group of employees who miss out in the labor market, they can also relieve regular companies from labor-intensive tasks, so that these companies can focus more on their own business. On the other hand, the social economy can also learn a lot from regular companies, such as innovative applications that facilitate work processes, not only for the benefit of the company, but also for the benefit of the target group employees. For example, technological aids can support people with disabilities in their job and make work in the social economy more accessible, even for people with multiple disabilities who need a lot of guidance in the workplace. And precisely that was the starting point of this year's challenge. But allow me to pass the microphone on to the students so they can tell about it themselves. Let's hear it for Team Flemish Brabant.
Hi everyone.
First of all, thank you, Roel, for that lovely introduction on the importance of a social economy. Secondly, I all want to ask you if someone recognizes the man from the picture. Maybe you know him by the name of Fyodor Dostoevsky. A long time before I was born, this man already concluded that deprived of meaningful work, men and women lose their reason for existence. They go stark, raving mad. And that is exactly what we believe to be the focal point of this project. This project is all about creating meaningful work for people who have in some way been forgotten in the labor market. That is why Felix and I are proud to present you our Nutcracker project. During the last semester, we have been given the chance by our sponsor, Vlaams Brabant, to search for a social enterprise, and we found ourselves into a unique situation where we could not only choose our own social enterprise, but where we could also work on a project that is not entirely profit-driven.
Our project is located at Wonen en Werken, an employment project where people with a great distance from the labor market can go to for a sustainable job. Here people are valued and motivated and given opportunities, and this all irrespective of their origin, religion, skills and knowledge.
So, Wonen en Werken already provide a lot of summer activities, but during the winter months there is less work available. That is why they asked us to create meaningful winter activity. When we first went to Wonen en Werken, we immediately saw some very giant walnut trees. Oostrum, another organization that is already working on the processing of these walnuts. Together with the PiP main objective, we thought about an idea on how we could make a technological solution for cracking these walnuts.
After a quick market research, we quickly stumbled on the Notenkijker project, organized by Sera and 37 Graden. In this project, walnuts are collected from all over Flanders and then distributed over different social enterprises. In these social enterprises, the employees crack and peel the walnuts, after which a professional walnut oil producer extracts the oil out of them. Then in the social enterprises, the walnut oil is packaged with the greatest care by the employees. Last year, they had a big success where they collected more than 5,000 kilograms of walnuts in only 6 weeks.
Oostrum is already involved in the Notenkijker project, so we wanted to see on how they crack these walnuts today. As you can see in the pictures, this process is quite physically demanding. It's even a bit slow, and it's even a bit dangerous. But we all hear you thinking, why don't they just use a regular nutcracker? Well, all those regular nutcrackers require a specific skill. For example, they all require physical strength. And that is just not something that everybody has at Wonen en Werken. So, with our solution, we thought about the idea that it's more ergonomic and it's even more accessible for everyone.
And this is why we proudly present to you our Nutcracker. Our solution is a movable workbench that is mainly made out of wood and stainless steel. The 2 iron beaks are responsible for cracking the nuts, and a footplate is used as a lever to crack the nuts. Thanks to its easiness and the minor force that is needed to operate our nutcracker, our solution is accessible to almost everyone. And if we compare it to the current method, our model is not only safer, but also more ecological, durable, while keeping the efficiency.
We first tested our prototype ourselves, but it was also important that the people of Wonen en Werken could use our product too. So, In the picture you see Niels, and Niels is already processing these walnuts quite well. But what you may not know is that Niels normally sits in a wheelchair. So in my opinion, I think we have proven that this product works quite well. On the other hand, the financials are also very important.
Let's take a quick dive into the numbers. With the production of 4,000 bottles, 8,000 euros of profit can be made. This isn't much, but keep in mind that the people at these social enterprises are mainly there to seek purpose and meaning in their work. And they do this for free. And what's maybe more important than the profit is the 8,000 hours of meaningful work that is realized. At this moment, the cost of our prototype is 711 euros, but with further research, we hope to reduce these costs. Then, for our plan of action, we will need an investment of 10,000 euros to provide every social enterprise of the Notencracker project with one nutcracker.
In general, we conclude that this project is more than just a technical solution. We keep helping people one nut at a time. Thank you all for listening, and please be invited to come and crack the walnuts yourself at our booth later on this evening. Thank you for all.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Vlaams-Brabant. I actually had a long praise planned for you, but no worries, I will not bore you with it. No, I think I can say it in a nutshell. Your work this year and your presentation was nuts. All right. No, jokes aside, all year these students have worked really hard to come up with these beautiful solutions and their beautiful solution and beautiful presentation. So I would like to thank the Argonauts who helped our students during the first semester with the design thinking process they all went through. And in the second semester, I want to thank the Toastmasters for making sure these students made such beautiful presentations. So thank you, Argonauts, and thank you, Toastmasters, for really letting our students crack out of their shell. All right. Now, before I make any more jokes, I think we can start with the rest of our presentations. But what is this wheelchair doing here? It should be at the beginning of the reception, not here. Here it can't help anyone. Always the same. No, this calls for the expertise of a PiP team. I welcome to you, Team UZ Leuven.
Good evening. I'm Rebecca, and I want to present two other people as well. You can see them on the picture. One of them is Nele, also in front of you, and the other one is Christian. Christian is the grandfather of Nele. He's also the one who learned you how to play cards, right?
Yes, indeed. And now I even beat him.
Just as a side note. I wanted to show you this picture because I'm going to explain a situation that could happen to them, but it could also happen to you and a beloved one, to somebody who you bring to the hospital. So imagine that you are going to bring a beloved one to the hospital of UZ Leuven. UZ Leuven is known for their specialized care and their innovative treatments. But they're also known to be a huge building. So if you're not that well at foot, or you have a problem at your knee, for example, then you would be happy to use a wheelchair. In that case, I'm going to walk you to how it would ideally look like, that situation. You come at the hospital, you park your car, you go inside the hospital to fetch a wheelchair, and then you go with the wheelchair to the car, to your beloved one, and then together with your grandfather or anyone, you go inside the wheelchair to your doctor's appointment. That all sounds right. But sometimes things don't always go as planned. Sometimes it can occur that you go to the wheelchair hub and the wheelchair hub is empty. What do you do then? You would look around, ask the receptionists for help, and they will help you, but they also have other things on their mind. Eventually, I'm sure that you will find a wheelchair and you can go back to your beloved one with the wheelchair. But then again, they were there waiting for you, and on a day when you have to go to the hospital, you just want everything to go as smooth as possible. Before diving into our solution to this problem, I want to ask you for your opinion. What do you think? How often does a shortage occur at the UZ Leuven? So it will be a very concrete question, and you will have two options: more or less than 10 times. I'm going to repeat the question more specifically. So, on a week time, if we would measure it every half hour, how often do you think a shortage occurs at the two main entrances? So who thinks it occurs less than 10 times? You can put up your hand. Okay. Less than 10 times in a week period on the two main entrances. Who thinks it occurs more than 10 times? Okay, a lot of hands. Indeed, we did the measurements for a week on two hubs in the UZ Leuven, and it occurred 27 times.
And that's why we invented Wheelie, to create a smoother wheelchair journey. It's a service to restock the wheelchair hubs to not have any shortages. So how does a service look like? Well, it consists of two components. One, the app, who will do the thinking, and two, the employees, who will do the real work. We will first dive deeper into the first part of our service, the app. The app has three main functions. It will be aware of the exact location of the wheelchairs, it will be aware of the emptiness of the hub, and it will combine this information to propose the most efficient way to restock the wheelchair hubs. If you have questions about how it will look like, or if you have questions about its functioning, or especially if you want to test it yourself, that's all possible at our booth after the presentations. As you remember, I talked about two components of our service, the app and the employees. Considering the employees, UZ Leuven can choose itself to employ its logistic department, volunteers, or people from a childhood workshop, like Velo, for example. And we students all know Velo for helping us repairing our bike. It employs people who are distant from the job market, and this can be due to various reasons, such as having a disability or not speaking Dutch very well yet. And as bringing wheelchairs from one place to another would not be a very complex task, it is possible to employ these people and make a social impact. On the screen, in the second and the third picture, you can see Ogbit. And Ogbit had a hard time finding a job because he doesn't speak Dutch very well yet. But now he works at Velo. And we asked Ogbit to test our prototype to see if he could work with it. And we made a simple test version, and there we paid a lot of attention on using as much as pictograms as possible, and also always use the same words. For example, instead of switching between the word follow, walk, or go, we only use the word follow. And indeed, Ogbit could use the app easily, although he doesn't speak Dutch very well yet.
Maybe you think that there exists 1,000 apps and services already, so why do we need a real one? I want to explain this to you by highlighting the benefits that Wheelie would offer. So as Nele explained already, the app knows the locations of the wheelchairs and creates efficient tasks. This has as a consequence that there will be a big reduction in search time. Do keep in mind that in a hospital, a reduction in search time would mean that the people can spend more time on taking care of the patients. So a reduced search time is indeed a big benefit. Secondly, at the moment, there is not a clear responsible person or group of persons for the wheelchair availability. At the moment, it just happens at an ad hoc basis that nurses go search for a wheelchair, or guards go, or the people at the receptions. By creating a separate service and an app, there would be a clear responsible who would be in charge of replenishing the wheelchair hubs. And this, as a third effect and a third main benefit, would cause that there would be no shortages at the wheelchair hubs, and when you come with your grandfather or with a beloved one to the hospital, you would just have a seamless wheelchair journey. UZ Leuven, we want to thank you for this interesting problem, and we hope you like the idea as much as we do, and you would be happy to develop it further.
Thank you all for your attention, and we hope to see you at our booth.
Thank you, UZ Leuven. But of course, proper management is useful in almost all aspects of our lives. And a PiP team is no different. So I would like to thank our team coaches for making sure our PiP teams are managed as optimally as possible and making sure they run as smooth as possible. Now, I forgot to ask you, would you please all put your phones on silent? You're not going to change the world with your phones this evening. Or are you? I welcome to the stage Team Mobile Vikings.
Everybody has a phone. Everybody can buy stuff online through that phone. Everybody is notified by climate issues and social issues through that same phone. But most of us don't have the capacity to change those problems in some few clicks. Well, you see that logo over there? It's through them that will bring a change.
The dragon that you saw on the previous slide is the logo of an online telecom operator, Mobile Vikings. Currently, they have 300,000 customers that they try to attract and keep through FOMO programs. One of their FOMO programs is the Viking Deals. Viking Deals are only available for Mobile Viking customers. We'll call them from now the Vikings. However, these FOMO programs seem only to be attractive between the age of 18 and 35 years. So there might be a problem. So our goal is to improve the FOMO programs and to make Mobile Vikings more appealing to every age group. But first, we have to explain what are those FOMO programs.
In the past, Mobile Vikings introduced the FOMO program, Viking Deals. What are Viking Deals? Well, like I said, you can buy stuff online. But if you do that through Mobile Vikings, there's something special. You get Viking points. With those Viking points, at the end of the month, you can lower your bill. Keep in mind, 1 Viking point is €1. And above that, Mobile Vikings doesn't gain anything from it. So it's a real win. But currently, only 20% of the customers use them. So it's real challenging for us to find a solution to increase that number. So what should we do?
How can that be complicated? What if you propose customers, let's say, the Viking Deals for the future? Nowadays, customers are concerned by sustainable and social issues. But if you can integrate this in a FOMO program, without doubt, the use of Viking points will increase. Let me give you an example. Now, Vikings can kill their bill with Viking points, but unfortunately, they don't use them. So we have to bring some change. Imagine an average customer of the age of 13 years, called Kevin. He's thinking, what should I do with those Viking points at the end of the month? So if you propose Kevin the possibility to donate his Viking points to a sustainable cause, then without doubt he would be incentivized to use them at the end of the month.
So let's meet our solution. The solution is brilliant in its simplicity. So as you know, Mobile Vikings is cooperating with companies. But now we extend that to charities. And it's simple. The customer, named Kevin, can now donate their unspent Viking points to charities for the greater good.
This idea follows the same philosophy as the Viking deals. We can even say it's a reflection of it. But what if we gave the Vikings the possibility to donate their Viking points to do good? For example, they can do this all through the mobile Viking application, and all this in some clicks.
And that's right. Kevin is now thinking, there is the FOMO. But of course, as any critical mind, he has a few questions. A lot of money is already going to charities. It's been going on for a long time. Why is this any different?
It's different because now they can invest in local charities. For example, Bergenkoel. And now he has also the possibility to donate to 3 categories: global warming, education, and nature.
All right, okay, but why through Mobile Vikings? Why them?
That's an interesting question. The reason why they would use this FOMO program is because they can donate what they already have but don't spend, namely the Viking points. So without doing some additional research, if a charity is trustworthy and transparent, we take all these doubts away. And let's not forget that with Mobile Vikings, they have a great telecom plan and can create a local impact. So it's the best of both worlds.
All right, Kevin is getting convinced, but he's contemplating a bit about, well, what are the other benefits?
Let's consider what you just said. The customer satisfaction will increase. And next to that, the customer will also have a closer contact with the charity. In return, the charities will gain in more visibility, and they will also receive more donations so they can realize more projects. And most important of all, for Mobile Viking, their brand awareness will increase, and in return, they will attract more customers.
And as a telecom operator, we are bringing people together, family, friends, but we're extending that to customers and charities. So now the only thing left to do is scan the QR code, and in some few clicks, you can then see how you can contribute too. Thank you.
Thank you, Mobile Vikings. I think all Vikings here, including myself, are really looking forward to making a difference in our local environments. But making a difference, that's what really sets a PiP student apart from other students. Wanting to make a difference in the world through innovation. So I would like to thank our sponsors for really allowing them to make that difference and for believing they can make that difference in the world and for really believing they can make an impact even during their studies. Now, I believe as well. I believe we've really grown closer together as an audience and a host. So, I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. I actually have a little stage fright. But I think most of you can agree with me when I say that talking in front of a large audience can be really scary. And I mean, really scary. But I overcame my fears here tonight, and I believe you can do it too. But you don't have to trust me for it. No, let's bring in the experts. Team VRT!
Hello everyone, welcome to our presentation. Today we are going to present our product Radio Ready. But first off, we have a quick announcement from our sponsor, the VRT, and that's that one of you is going to do a live radio interview to talk about our product. We think this is a very big opportunity for us because you will be on the Radio 1 program De Wereld Vandaag, which is hosted by Ruud Goets. I don't know if you heard about the program, but it's a really popular one, and Radio 1 is also one of the most listened to radio stations in Flanders. So after the presentation, we will choose one of you of the audience to do this interview.
Okay, what? I already saw some faces turn like, oh no, but I'm not prepared. This is the first time that I'm going to ever conduct an interview. And also, my future, Radio Ready's future, and also our team's future lies in your hand. Knowing all that, I could still say, don't worry, really don't worry. Because we trust you. And why do we trust you? Mainly because you'll conduct this interview via our mobile application in Radio Ready. And also, I'm going to give you all the necessary information for you to conduct this interview and to, for it to be stress-free, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, boom, the home screen. So tonight, ladies and gentlemen, someone will accept the interview of Ruud Goets that is on the home screen. The first invitation ever on Radio Ready. What an honor. So after clicking on the accept button, because we believe that all transparency is of utmost importance for you to not feel stressed, we have an overview of all the details you'll need to know before actually conducting the interview, such as the questions that she is going to ask, so you can prepare yourself beforehand. Then, if you still don't feel confident enough, and you still want to ask some questions to Ruud Goets, or you just casually want to ask how her kids are doing, you can all do that via the chat function. That's genius. Like, you can just casually chat with Ruud Goets. And also, if you can just go to the previous slide. No, again. No, again. Yeah. No, yes. No, the home screen?
Home screen.
Yes, the home screen. Okay, so on the home screen, we have another excellent feature. If you have the memory of a fish, just as I do, we have a whole overview of all the upcoming interviews, and also you can just add it to your agenda so you'll never forget about an interview. Yeah, and we also have something for introverts. You can adapt and observe the environment before really entering in the studio, and have the interview with Ruud Goets. Still adapt and have some time to just take everything in. And then once she lets you in, it will be your time to shine, but also Radio Ready's time to shine. And you'll tell Ruud Goets about how user-friendly our application is, how easy it is to use, and how relieved that you feel after using our application. And after the interview, because you matter, you can still leave some feedback for Ruud Goets, so she can take it along with her for the next interview that she'll conduct with another speaker or even with you. And then the most important part, you can share the interview with friends on social media to brag about how your life is so much more exciting because you just conducted an interview with Ruud Goets.
Okay, here is Ruud. She's probably also nervous right now because from the part of the interviewer, there's also a lot of things that can go wrong. For example, you couldn't know a lot about her product, so the interview will go bad and Radio 1 is going to lose a lot of listeners, for which Ruud herself will probably be blamed. She will lose her reputation and maybe even her job. So I hope you guys are really prepared. But at the moment, with the current tools the VRT is using, there also isn't even a way to let the interviewer even know if you're experiencing any problems. And it's also not easy to prepare the interviewee for his interview. That's why we also developed a a web app, which is compatible with the mobile app. And through this web app, we offer a lot of tools with which the interviewer can prepare the interviewee for his interview. For example, on the home screen, you can easily see a list of your upcoming interviews, so you won't miss any. Here is the screen from which you can access all the tools that we provide to the interviewers. For example, you can send leading interview questions to the interviewee so he can better prepare. It's also possible to chat with the interviewer or let them know, for example, that the interview has been delayed. It's also possible to even remotely perform a diagnostic test, so you can check if the internet connection of the interviewee is good enough to conduct a video interview. Finally, to even better prepare the interviewee for his interview, it's also possible to upload some guidance files. These can be anything from how to turn on 4G or also some tips and tricks on how to perform well during an interview. So the interviewer can upload these, which will be visible within the mobile app of Radio Ready that Firdaus has talked about. When it's finally time for the interview, of course, we also provide stable video and audio connections so the interview can actually take place. So in short, we believe that we can improve radio interviews by reducing stress that's experienced during them. We believe we can do this by focusing on 3 important things. First one, by including a lot of guidance within our apps so the interviewees are really prepared for their interviews. Also by making the products really user-friendly, so you don't need to you don't need to read any manual in order to work with our products. And finally, by also providing a clear overview of the interviews and more information about them.
Okay, so now I believe that you're all ready for this interview. I should just repeat the 3 key words that you have to remember, please, for this interview. So it's user-friendly, it's reassuring, and it's easy to use. So before I actually pick someone, are there any volunteers for this interview? No one?
Okay, wait, Firdaus. Guut just messaged me on the mobile app during the chat that the interview has actually been cancelled.
Oh.
But as a compensation, there will be VRT goodies at our booth, and you will also be able to request your favorite song, which we will play on the speakers. So thank you.
Well, thank you, Verte. I think it's safe to say you scared the living hell out of all of us here this evening. Even I am shaken up a little. This really has been more than enough excitement for me today, especially with what happened at that interesting reception back now. So, with that in mind, I present to you DPG Media.
Good evening, everyone. We hope you enjoyed the pitches so far. We are Team DPG Media. I'm Charlotte.
And I'm Noora.
And we have one simple question for you. Do you want to share something weird, noticeable from the reception today? Yeah. People running around, okay. And did it seem tiring? Most distracting. Okay, what's your name? Sorry? Cillian. Okay, and did you take a picture of it? Did you? Okay, that's very good. Are there any others who saw someone running around? No?
He did.
You did? Okay, cool. Good.
Oh, yes. What's your name? Christian, okay. And did anyone else see the girl with the triangle? Oh, that's good, that's great.
Okay, thank you for sharing all these interesting facts with us. You probably wondering why we've kept you busy for so long on a reception. Well, the thing is that we actually wanted to show you that local things, even when local things happen, it sparks interest, you know, and you want to share them with others. DPG Media our product sponsor, as all other news media companies, probably also in Belgium, notice that they have difficulties to reach younger audiences to their local news outlet, HLN, Het Laatste Nieuws. Especially people between 18 years of age and 30 years of age. Now, the thing is, based on what we've seen today, and based on the popularity of local Facebook pages you probably all know, such as Je bent van, you know, and local neighbor networking apps such as Hoppler, we do think that young people are interested in local news. Our information we all need today is scattered on different platforms. For instance, social media apps, news apps, blogs, websites. Wouldn't it be very cool that there is something that combines news media content, local, especially local, with social media tools that we all love?
Which is why we bring to you HLN Extra Local. HLN XL is a feature that will be implemented in the already existing HLN app. It brings news content with social media tools. The goal of HLN XL is to build an online community in which HLN users can engage more in an offline local community. It has 3 main aspects, and it comes at no additional costs for the users.
Great news, right? The first element of HLN XL is location-based news. Once you create an account in the HLN app, you can indicate your location where you live and indicate your specific topics which you like to read about. For instance, if you live in Leuven, as we are here, you can indicate, okay, I live in Leuven, and you will be provided with a For You page which contains all local news from Leuven from your specific interests, for example, sports. If you go on a weekend, you can also change your location. For instance, if you go to Ostende, then you see all the local news of Ostende.
The second feature is user-generated content, or as we like to call it, community-driven news. With HLN XL, each and every one of you in the audience can become a contributor by writing and sharing articles about local topics. You can easily access the writing tool by simply pressing the pen-shaped button, and you can just get started. You can easily access the writing tool by pressing the pen-shaped button and just start writing. You can also choose to add photos or videos to your articles, as well as hashtags indicating the general topic of the article. Other HLN users can also interact with your article by liking, commenting, sharing, and even verifying your article.
Okay, the third and last aspect of HLN XL is gamification. You're maybe wondering why should I ever make an article? I mean, why should I ever do that? Well, you can gain HLN points. By writing an article, you win 10 points. By verifying an article, you win 1 point. And if your article becomes verified by another person or another user on HLN XL, you also gain 1 point. Okay, Charlotte, but so what? Well, if you gain points, the higher you are ranked in a HLN ranking. And here's the good news, the higher you rank, the more merchandise, HLN XL merchandise, you can win. Why? Are we going to test that now, Noura?
I would love to test that out. So at the beginning, we asked you a question. Celine in the audience shared that she saw the marathon runner, I believe. So for sharing that with the audience, Celine wins 10 points. And every one of you who raised their hands, verifying that they have also seen that marathon runner, gains 1 point. In return, Celine also gained 1 point for each hand that has been raised. And it was 2 hands, I believe.
That's a start.
That's a start. So Celine has a total of 12 points, which is more than anyone else in the audience. And for that, woo! But that's not the end. Celine actually wins HLN merchandise, so.
Good throw.
I was trying to do my best. But everyone else in the audience, don't be discouraged. At the beginning, we did ask you to share your pictures with us on our Instagram. 3 of you guys will win HLN merchandise for having shared these pictures with us. So if you want to win, if you want merchandise, come to our booth, and don't forget, driven by local news, powered by you.
Well, thank you, Deputy Media. You really knocked my socks off with that beautiful performance. I mean, presentation, of course. Now, please, if you win some merchandise, please don't leave it lying about, as pollution is already such a big world problem. But where better to start solving that problem right here, right now. I welcome to the stage Team Stad Leuven.
Good evening, everyone. Today, I would like to talk with you about climate change. If I ask to one of you, which are the most polluting industry, probably you will answer energy, agriculture, food retail, or even transportation. But from this list, we are missing the third place, the fashion industry. I'm not proud because, okay, it's on the podium, but still. And what we are here, like, we are gonna give you some numbers. Every year, the fashion industry pollutes with 10% of the total global CO2. Moreover, 93 trillion liters of water every year are used by the fashion industry. To give you an example, it's like taking the Baltic Sea, Caspian Sea, my pardon, and use it for the fashion industry. What we can do about it? We can use, for example, circular economy. But this is what we are talking about. Like, if you want to donate nowadays, it's like this. It looks like trash rather than giving clothes a second life. So, what are the main problems? Like, the community can see this every day, but it's not only about how the community is feeling unpleasant, but it's also about the clothes itself, the purpose of donating. It's passing on, like, it's feeling like a garbage. So the problem is that when the container gets full, the dumping starts all around it. Moreover, when how the container gets full and his velocity of getting full depends and varies on the location. Moreover, when you donate, after donating, the clothes are collected and taken to a facility to be resold in a second moment. But at the facility happens the longest and most time-consuming process, the sorting process. Every clothes from the pile, for piece by piece, they are divided into categories: shoes, pants, trousers, etc., etc. But let's talk about a fact. Another number, guys. Today is number 9. So, like, every year, or right now, only 8% of the total clothes donated are reused. We are here not only to give the possibility of being you aware of your actions, but you have to feel and to be the protagonist in fighting for this cause. To resume, what our goals are: to reduce overflowing containers, faster the sorting process, and create people more aware. Overflowing containers, sorting process, and create people awareness.
And for these three problems, we have one solution. Paolo, please. Dun-dun-dun-dun. Well, it's a third of the solution. To see the rest, you would have to come to the booth. But yeah, we'd expect you there. So for the first problem, as we said, just separating the clothes in this facility takes a long time. We want to cut that down. We feel like the best way to do that is by already separating the container into compartments, such as t-shirts, sweaters, pants, etc. And the feedback that we've gotten from that, it's been great. We already do it for trash, and yeah, we don't think that clothes are less than trash. Secondly, to know if the containers are full, we have placed proximity sensors on them. This allows us not only to check if they're full or not, but also get the data on how many times a donation is made, and then we can process the data into further dashboards. To make people aware, we've laser cut into the panels these images here. We are trying to make the people aware, as Paolo said, and also the previous image here to give the people a clear picture of what the process of donating is after they donate, right? And we've already implemented this. We had the container at Hall 5 and also an elementary school in Leuven. It's been great until now, and we also would love to have you at our booth. And to conclude, we want to say that we're not a container making team. We are a team that is passionate about the circular economy and the social economy. We started in Leuven, and we want to take this further. Thank you.
Thank you, Stad Leuven, for trying to improve the city of Leuven, and with that, the world. Now, these students have really made a beautiful prototype. So I would like to thank everyone of the prototype fair for giving our students this beautiful opportunity to make these beautiful prototypes. So thank you. But talking about opportunities, we have to realize not everyone gets the same ones. No, even now, there are a lot of children who grow up in underprivileged environments. But luckily, there are those who try to change that. I welcome Team Bright Lab.
Hello, good evening to all of you, and thank you, Jules, for the nice introduction. Let's maybe start with a small game first, shall we? I want you to raise your hand whenever you think that the answer is correct. And the question is the following. What number of children in Flanders grow up in underprivileged homes? I'll give you some time to think about it, and the three answers are on the screen. So, who thinks it's 1 in 15? Okay, I see a couple of hands. Then, who thinks it's 1 in 10? Number of hands is growing, perfect. And last, who thinks it's 1 in 7? Yeah, it's indeed 1 in 7. 1 in 7 children in Flanders grow up in underprivileged homes. This is according to the Kinderarmoedefonds in 2021. And let that sink in for a moment. 1 in 7 is a really, really big number. Besides it being big, it's also unfair, since it's not the children's fault that they end up in these underprivileged homes. And besides them being underprivileged, they're also underrepresented. Think about the politics, the justice system, media, but also think about STEM, the field of science and technology. This is Timmy. Timmy is 12 years old and grew up in a single-parent family since his father left 7 years ago. He lives in Zaventem, really close to the airport, and he sees the airplanes take off once in a while. He would like to have a model airplane that he can play with, that he can take apart, that he can learn from. He wants to one day become an engineer, an airplane engineer, to be more specific. However, his mother works 2 jobs to make the ends meet. So she doesn't really have the resources nor the time to support Timmy in his dreams. If only STEM would be more accessible.
And that's why we, Team Bright Lab, have spent the entire past year working out a solution to make STEM more inclusive. And we call it Whiteboards. Whiteboards is a community-built interactive board game, and the goal is for a group from 1 to 4 children to play together, to collaborate, and to go through a storyline to show the real power of STEM. So what you see behind me now is a template tile. And a game consists of multiple tiles like this one. And as you can see, they can be connected like a puzzle. And every tile will have their own STEM topic, so it's highly flexible and you can change it to your needs or to your preferences. We also developed a companion app for the children to go through the game in an intuitive way. And we will organize monthly afternoons at Maak Leerplek Leuven. And Maak Leerplek is really the ideal place for this, because it's a place by and for the people of Leuven to come together and to create. And we do this for all children, but especially for Timmy. But this just seems so plain, don't you think? So, Timo, can you maybe show the audience our prototype?
Of course. We have spent the last year working on this tile. This tile is all about the series and parallel electrical circuits. It shows a city that has been destroyed by a recent devastating storm. All of the houses, the trees, but also the complete electrical grid are down. And it's a children's task to rebuild the city. They can do this through a series of hands-on assignments in which they get to experiment with electrical circuits. This, of course, is only one such tile, and we rely on the community to build and design multiple more of these. Margot, can you maybe show us how we make it easy for them?
Of course. So do you remember the app that I just talked about? It doesn't only have a part for the children, but also a part for the community to build. And as you can see, it's really, really easy, because there are very few requirements. You just fill in some questions, and then the materials will be ordered and delivered at Maak Leerplek, which once again is the ideal place for this, because one of the rooms, the high-tech lab, has all the machines needed to build these tiles.
But don't you think that this will be really expensive? Can Timmy and his mom even afford this?
Yes, they can, because our solution is low cost and sustainable. So we achieved this through the help of some funds, and here are some funds that we would be eligible to get money from. But also we use some cost-effective materials, like medium-density fiberboards. So in the end, our board only costs 25 euros, which is not a lot at all for something that can be reused. But in the end, of course, we want to become self-sustainable, and we want to achieve this by selling the board outside of Leuven as well. So, Timo, can you maybe tell us some more about the partners in this operation?
Of course. We're really trying to work together with all of the existing partners in Maak Leerplek to build an inclusive community over there. Besides that, we also work with our sponsors, Bright Lab and Samis Fund. And in addition, we have been in talks with KU Leuven Engage, which is the organization linked to our university that tries to get both staff and students to volunteer. And last but not least, we've been working with Get the Kids, a local organization that organizes after-school activities for the children in Sint Maartensdal. They are one of the groups for who we will organize these game afternoons. But of course, there are multiple other organizations like these that can help us extend our reach. Which actually brings me to the point, if any of you are interested in working with us, then please feel free to reach out and let's see how we can get involved.
So, to conclude, we built Whiteboards, an interactive, community-driven board game adventure, and we will host monthly afternoons at Maak Leerplek Leuven to play the game. Which leaves us with only one final note. Come take a look at our booth and experience the magic of whiteboards yourself, and you will see how we give Timmy and his friends all the opportunities that they deserve. Thank you.
Thank you, Bright Lab, for that beautiful presentation and, of course, for giving Timmy all those beautiful opportunities. And with that bang, we've come to an end of the presentations. But before we wrap this up, I would still like to thank a final few people. some people very close to my heart. My co-board members, Thomas and Steph. And our beloved coordinator, who has always had our backs, Gael. This really has been an amazing year working with you, and I will really treasure these memories forever. All right, now before I announce the booths officially opened, I would like to invite all of our PiP students up here so we can take a really big group picture. And of course, thank you all for your attention. You've been a really great audience. Thank you. Don't forget to stop at the buffet on your way to the booths. Thank you.